Hi, I'm Lee and I'm a New Zealander living in the East Riding of Yorkshire in the United Kingdom, and this is my podcast about my handmade life. I'm on Instagram as louleigh_ and on Ravelry as louleigh, and I sell knitting accessories at Shop Louleigh on Etsy, but you can find links to all of my online places at louleigh.com. Welcome. It's so nice to be sat here and talking to you again. It's been a few weeks, and so I've been really excited to come and have a little chat with you. It is a snow day here, which is in the UK we tend to get, well, in this part of the UK we tend to get sort of like a week of light snow or something like that, and so snow days are kind of something that everybody gets excited about, and they can't get to work, and so yeah, it's something we talk about here. But anyway, so I just thought that I would sit down, I finished my work for the morning, and have a chat with you. So you have me in my dog walking unmade up mode today, but it's really nice to come and have a chat with you. I'm looking at something just down here that I am super excited about, and I'm going to tell you about it, but not right now. And here comes the dog. Okay, so let's start with community news. The first thing I want to talk about is the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, because I'm going to be there as a podcaster with a podcaster pass and in the lounge and all that malarkey. And so I'm really looking forward to going along and meeting a lot of you. But there's just two things that I wanted to say about that. I thought it would be nice to have just a really informal, casual meetup outside of the Corn Exchange. And I realise if I pick a day at a time, not everybody will be able to make it. But hopefully some of you will, and it'll just be really nice. I'm still being distracted by my dog. He's down here. You're a distraction. So, it would be really nice if you can make it and you want to sit down and have a cup of coffee and a little chat to see you. So I thought that we could meet up at Rabbi's Cafe, which is near the train station, and I'll put the address and the details in the show notes, on Friday the 16th of March for breakfast, and I will be there from 9 a.m. through till about lunchtime, and then I'll probably tootle on along to the Corn Exchange. So if you can make it and you want to have a cup of coffee and a chat, then that would be awesome. The other thing that I wanted to say is that a lot of podcasters have said, oh, please come up and introduce yourself and all this sort of stuff. And I want to say the same thing, but it is so helpful if people are wearing name tags. I'm sure you're the same as me and you have trouble remembering people's names, or especially when you interact with a lot of people on Instagram and social media like we do. It's nice to know what people's tags are as well as their names, or embarrassingly, you just might not remember their face from last year, which I've done, and I don't feel good about, but you know. So yeah, make yourself a nice name tag, and I think it's just such a nice thing to do, and I tend to be a little bit shy, and I feel like once I've got my name tag on, that it's kind of like a force field for friendliness. So yeah, if you have one of the Ravelry name tags, wear that, or just make your own. It's lots of fun. There's lots of ideas on Pinterest, and you know, you could do a needle felted one or a cross stitch one. I shall probably pull my electronic one out from last year. But I think it's just a really helpful thing to do when you're in that environment and meeting a lot of people. So yes, name tags, I highly endorse them. Oh. Okay, here comes the animal. I have a feeling right now, at this very second, he's probably feeling thwarted about not being able to get my scone. Yeah, this podcast is not all about you. No, it has nothing to do with you. So anyway, so we also have the Tiny Owls Knit Along happening in the louleigh Ravelry group, and that's coming to an end today. So by the time you see this, I will probably have closed the thread and have drawn for the prize. I decided that what I'll do is to make up a little prize package that actually includes the new knitting case that I've been working on, and the winner will actually get to choose what fabric they want. So that's really exciting. I'm not going to show it to you today. It'll be a surprise, and I shall probably show it to you next week. But yeah, so if you have been knitting along with the Tiny Owls Cal, thank you so much. It's been really nice to see all your finished objects and your progress, and also to share knowledge and help people who are knitting stranded colourwork for the first time. I feel like there's some really fun things happening in the group at the moment, because we also have the Advent mini skein swap. Here comes the dog again. Happening in the group, and I got my Q1 package the other day with the 6 little wrapped mini skeins in it, and the packaging was just so cute. Yeah, so I hope if you've joined up with that you're starting to get your packages and having lots of fun with it. Q2 is open if you want to join in for the second quarter of the year. All the details of what it's all about and what you have to do are in the thread there, and I'll close that at the end of March and pair people up again. So that's really good fun. I'm not sure if this little fluffy head is up here because he wants to look out the window or examine my scone. But yeah, he's insisting on being here. Or if he just wanted to slurp up my coffee, don't put your nose in there. Okay, so the last thing that's happening in the Ravelry group is Knit 1000 grams, which is a challenge to knit at least a kilo of yarn before all the yarn festival fun starts to happen. And for me, that's EYF, so that will close on the, is it the 15th or the 14th? I think I said the 15th. Yeah, and so there's a lot of people who are tracking their progress over in the progress thread. A lot of you have met your goals. Some of you set much greater goals. And I went back and reviewed the things that I had wanted to achieve. And one of them was to weave something. So I've done that. But the other one was to finish 2 spinning projects that I have on the go. And I think I'm pretty close to having finished one. I just need to get it out and finish plying. And I'm not sure if I'll get the other one done before the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I'm looking over there because my Bliss spinning wheel is over there, and that's where it is. I probably could if I just sat down and did it, but there are other distracting things happening at the moment, which I'll talk about. So I think I can definitely finish off one of them anyway, so that will be quite good. You're going to need to hop down now. You have no business being on this podcast. You don't even knit. This is the sock segment. So about a week ago, I decided to herd together my sock knitting into a basket. And I have all sorts of bits in here that are kind of in progress, and also some bits that need to be mended. So these gloves are needing a little bit of mending. But the exciting thing that I had to talk to you about this time is my new cast on. So Danny from Little Bobbins put out her Cyril socks. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the details of that. They've got a really pretty little twisted stitch style cable up them. And I decided that I would join in. I was needing some socks in my wardrobe that actually matched with my shoes and just weren't really bright colours, so that when they kind of blend in rather than popping out. And so I thought it was really appropriate to cast on with some vintage yarn that I had in my stash. Look, this is so dark you can't even really see. Maybe if I hold it over here in the light and make it focus there. This is a really pretty yarn. I got it from the local charity shop. I think someone was probably de-stashing their grandmother's stash, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for me, but unfortunately that they had lost their granny. And there were some lovely yarns that were just sort of like, well, they'd laid them all out in the window. So you can imagine the sort of double take I did as I wandered past the charity shop. Nearly gave myself whiplash. Yeah, but this is, if you could see it, you'd be able to see that this was a very pretty dark brown that has red and yellow kind of flecks in it. It's a beautiful, beautiful tweed. It's also very elastic. Here's the label. It's pure wool. I don't think it's going to be superwash, but it's a British wool. It says made in England. Well, who knows if that's British wool. It's not merino or anything like that. But it's just really beautifully spongy and elastic, and I think that these are going to be a really lovely pair of winter socks to wear in my boots. So I'm really excited about those. I'll tell you about the other things in this basket as I actually come in and as I actually get to them. So a couple of weeks ago we had the hairy man's stepdaughter and her children come to stay with us, which was lots of fun, and we had a really good time with them. But I was finding that I didn't have a lot of brain space for complicated knitting. Not even that complicated knitting. I just didn't have any brain space, and so I decided to pull out a jersey that I started last year. I'm in a tangle now. Using this really pretty colour of Malabrigo sock. It's actually quite a bit darker there than it really is. It's got lovely sort of oranges and browns. It's got a little bit of blue in it. Yeah, and it's just really, really pretty. And last summer I had been using Anne Budd's Handy Book of Sweaters and the patterns from that, and I had knitted the sleeves out of this. But I had kind of rethought the sort of like the shape of the jersey that I wanted, how I wanted it to end up. So of course I'd done the sensible thing, and I had taken all of my body measurements, but for quite a long time now I've been measuring my clothes as well. So if I have a top or something that I really like the fit of, I'll lay it out on the floor or the bed, and I'll take measurements from that as well, so that I have an idea of how much ease I like, and where I like to have either extra fabric or less fabric. And I was kind of a bit worried with the jersey that I started last summer that I wasn't going to. I have a couple of shirts that I really like to wear, and I was concerned that there wasn't going to be enough space in the arm side, and I was going to get that bunching where your shirt underneath sort of gathers up and scrunches up in your armpit, which is really unpleasant. So I decided to start again from scratch. And as I did not have the mental capacity at the time to do simple arithmetic, I thought the path of least resistance was just to go into custom fit, because my measurements and everything are already in there, and to generate a new pattern. So that's what I did. And the other thing is about that is that I was a beta tester for custom fit, and so I made a cardigan then, and I've made another cardigan using custom fit pattern as well, and they tend to be the garments, the handmade garments, that I get the most compliments about. People seem to, and non-knitters seem to notice that they just fit really well. So I thought that that was a good idea. So I think I've said I'm using Malabrigo sock. I only had 3 skeins of this, and I know that some of you who are really lovely and petite and tiny can get jerseys out of 2 skeins or 3 skeins, but I am not petite and tiny. Well, I think I'm regular sized, you know, I think I'm perfectly normally proportioned. However, I have a feeling that it's going to take more like 4 skeins of yarn to make a 4-ply jersey for me. And so I bought an extra skein that is in a different dye lot. So you might be sitting there thinking, but Lee, you're showing us the back of your knitting. But I've decided, because I've got this, I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference if I show you what I'm calling the back side. I decided so that, because it's a hand-dyed yarns, I just decided that they would blend a lot more nicely and you would probably not notice the differences in dye lots so much. Oh, the sun's come out. Maybe you can see that now. Yeah, I thought it was just blend all the colours together a little bit, not in a more pleasing way, if I put the reverse of the stocking stitch on the outside. And I have no doubt that every time I wear this, someone will say, "Ooh, your jumper's inside out." However, it's a design feature, so, you know. Yes, I'm knitting it in pieces because I don't mind seaming, and this, I can fit this in a sock knitting bag if I knit it in pieces, so it's not like a big heavy thing to cart around with me. So this is the back, and I'm really enjoying that. It's pretty mindless. I've got markers there, row markers there. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing with that. I'm eating a scone, so I probably have scone in my teeth or something. But it's really nice. So this is the thing that I'm really excited about. The postman braved his way through the snow today to deliver a jersey's comp. I can't even say this. To deliver a jersey's. Do you know what? I'm so used to Americanizing myself and saying sweater that I can't even say jersey quantity. I'm making a conscious effort to be a bit more New Zealandish, because if I say jersey, which is what I would say in New Zealand, you guys totally know what I mean, and I am a New Zealander, so yeah, it's nice to be inclusive and say sweater and jumper, but so today I just feel like being a Kiwi. So anyway, the postman braved the snow today to deliver a jersey's quantity of this, which I am super excited about. All of my knitting plans and aspirations and kind of forethought was hijacked when my lovely friend Alice came to stay. I think it was last weekend or the weekend before. And she was wearing a freshly finished Carbeth by Kate Davies in New Lanark Chunky. And she might have let me try it on. And as much as it was probably a little bit shorter, she had made hers a little bit longer, but as much as it probably was a little bit shorter than I would have liked, I quite liked it. So I had been thinking about putting it in my queue of things to knit, and I might have done a little bit of browsing around the interwebs for potential yarn substitutions. And I might have, as the weekend wore on, I might have become more and more enamoured with Carver. And there's an awful lot of people knitting it on Instagram. So I might have been scrolling through Instagram thinking, yep, that's a jolly nice jersey. And then we sat down and we watched an Icelandic film called, I think it's called Rams. And it's about two, what I would call hill country sheep farmers in Iceland. And all I can say is that maybe hill country sheep farmers are a little the same the world over. But of course they all had on those magnificent Icelandic jumpers. And then I think it's Ange from Meadow Yarn was wearing hers on the Instagram and was about to cast on another one, and I just fell over. I'm not usually someone who hops on a bandwagon, but yes, this is definitely one I'm hopping on. And so as soon as I have finished talking to you, I am going to get my knitting needles out and start swatching for Carver, and I'm really excited about it. And I plan on doing nothing else until it's finished. So, well, that might be until the weekend, until I rummage around here and find something else to do. But I'm really excited about starting it, and I'm going to cast that on right now. That being said, it's been so nice to come and have a chat with you today and catch up again. And if you're fortunate enough to be coming to Edinburgh Yarn Festival, then I'm really excited to see you there, and I hope you'll say hello. And if you're not, then I hope you have other knitty plans for this year that you're really excited about as well. I'm so glad you stopped in and spent some time with me, and come and join us in the Ravelry group. That would be lots of good fun. If you enjoy listening to me nattering about my knitting, then you can subscribe below as well. And I shall see you next time. Cheerio!